Hello, so welcome back to my channel. In this video we'll discuss about the um, important topics of array. So we'll continue with the array only. Yesterday we have discussed the array declaration, the creation of array, the copy of array, and how to traverse from one element to the last element of the array using the for loop concept. So we'll continue with the array, and let's create new Java class. So what we have learned yesterday, that array is a collection of element of the values where all the elements should be of the same data type, and each element is identified by their index number. So we'll So this is the program that we have written yesterday. It's array traversal. Traversal means iterate from all the element in the array. So we have used the for loop. So we have initiated the I equals to 0 to the till the condition is I is less than a dot length minus 1, because we are using indexing, and indexing last index should be length minus 1 I plus plus, and we are also verifying if the value matches with 3, then we'll print the index of that element. And here we are calling this method. For calling that method, we have created the object of that class, and as a parameter we are calling object dot, and we are calling this method call search, and as a parameter we are passing the array. So that's how we traverse from mm, to all the element in the array using the for loop. So this is the for loop concept we have used. So Java provides an alternative syntax that makes the code more compact, and we can uh, traverse to the element using that syntax also. So we'll see. So we know how we can declare the array using a square bracket. Then we'll give a reference variable name. So numbers equals to, then with the new keyword followed by new keyword, then again the data type. Here we can give the size of the array, or if we know the size of the array and the type, what are the elements are there, and the type, so we can declare it while creating the array itself. So I'll give 7, 90, 56, 90, 45, 78, 7. So this is how we create and declare an array. So now if we use the earlier method, we have to use for loop, and we have to iterate through the index 1 till the last index of the array we have declared, and we'll continue by incrementing the value of 1. So instead of doing that, what we'll do, we'll use the enhanced for loop. The enhanced for loop syntax is for what the data type of that array is integer, then numbers, so we'll see. I'll just try it. So this will also execute the similar thing. It will execute iterate from first index to last index, and it will give me the print the each element of this array. So how we are writing is integer, the data type of this array, then we are giving any reference variable of single object, and then colon, then we have to give the name of this array. So the name of this array is numbers. So this element will is iterating through each element. So when we'll print the number, it should return the similar to the I of this for loop. So we'll run and we'll see. So iterated to the first element 7, 90, 56, 89, 45, 70, 56. So when I'm printing the value of number, it is giving me the each element of that array. So this is the one of the advanced way of iterating to the loop. So it is one of the important question, like how we can iterate to the loop. So we can iterate to the iterate through the array. So using the this for loop, where we have to give initialization condition and increment and decrement operator, or we can use this advanced enhanced loop, where we are iterating to each element of that array. So next we'll see, I'll create a new class, and we'll see how we can sort this array. So let's assume that we'll declare a array, in which array in our array it contains like suppose 7 or 8 elements. So I declare the integer type array followed by square bracket, then we have to give name equals to new keyword, then the type, then square bracket. Here we can give the array, so it's 98, so 89, 65, 45, so we have declared the nine element in that array, and we'll see how we can sort that array. So we have a function in the java.util package that we have seen yesterday in arrays lecture. In java.util package we have used to get the each element of the array using the array using the java.util package, and similarly we'll be using this java.util package to sort this one. So we have a number of method in that package, so we'll be using a sort method to sort the array. So how we'll sort this array is arrays dot, so we are getting all the method of that class. So these are the, yesterday we are using to sort method to print the element of the array in the string type, and today we'll use sort, and in the bracket we'll give the name of that array. So we'll see what error is giving me. We have to before using the package, we have already discussed, we have to import that package, so that it will know from which package we are using this method. So we have from Java, we are using java.util package for arrays class. From arrays we are using dot sort method, and we are in, as an argument we are passing the array variable name to sort this array. And when this will sort this array, and our array will be displayed in the sorted in the ascending way. But how to print the element of the array to get the value? So to print the value of all the element, again we have to use java.util package, and we have to use toString method. So we can write, if we know how we can do that, arrays, then to sort, sorry, to string, and here we'll pass the array number. So we'll see. See, now it has sorted the value. So only difference we have already mentioned, that it will display in the square bracket, because it is uh, giving printing the value in the string format. So first smallest number is 1, then 7, then 23, then 45. So it's sorted in the ascending order from 1. Iterate through all the loop or all the element of array, and it printed in the ascending order. So this is how we can sort the array. So this is also one of the important like topic in the array, how we can sort the array. So we can also sort in the descending order or in the ascending order. We can also sort the string by taking the input from the user using the scanner class. So now we'll create a new class, and we'll see a different example, and we'll try to find out the duplicate values in the array, if there is any duplicate value. So I'll class a new Java class, array duplicate. So we have created a new array, new Java class, and we'll declare a array. New keyword, then type, then curly braces, and we can give 7 9 7 4 9 4 78 97. So we have 777, 44, and 99. We'll see how it is finding the duplicate value. So to search the duplicate value, we have to iterate through the for loop. We have to initialize, it will initialize. So to solve this problem, how we can find the duplicate element in the array, we have to iterate through we have to use the concept of nested for loop, that we have already discussed in the previous lecture, how nested for loop works. So first we'll iterate in first loop, we'll iterate through the first index, and in the inner for loop we'll traverse from the second element to the last, and we'll try to match if the first element is present in the other for loop or not. If it's present, then it will print that value, that element index. So we'll see. So integer I equals to, we start from 0, I less than, we can give less than equals to array length, or less than equals to array dot length minus 1. So we'll less than array dot length, then we'll iterate through plus plus. But in inner body of this for loop, we'll write the inner for loop that will iterate from the next element, next index to last index, and it will try to get if the first index what we are comparing is present in the inner loop or not. So we'll initialize with a different variable, int j equals to, what we'll write, we have to use I plus 1, because if we are considering the I and the outer, we have to start in the inner loop, we have to consider from the next element, next index. So we'll do I plus 1, and it will also traverse till last value less than array dot length, and we'll also increment j plus plus. And we try to match if index of I, the outer for loop, is matching with the inner for loop, is present or not. If it's present, then it will give the value like element which is present in that. So we know how the nested for loop works. It will start from the inner, it will run for the inner I equals to 0, then it will come to inner for loop. Inner for loop will complete the whole loop, then again it will go to the I equals to 1, then again it will come to the outer for loop and it will complete the for loop of the outer part, then again it will be, there will be increment of this I, and it will go to the index 2. This is how the nested for loop works. The outer, to complete the inner for loop, outer for loop, to complete the outer for loop, the inner for loop has to be complete fully, then only it can be incremented the value of the I. So we are in starting from the 0, means 7 index, it will come here, and it will try to, in inner for loop, it will try the, we have to initialize the values j plus 1, means I plus 1, means we will be using this one index number 1, till the j is less than array length, so it will be the this 7, and it will try to match if whatever the value we have considered in the outer for loop is matching is the j for loop or not. If match is found, then it will print the value what match is present. If suppose we are matching the 7, when it will come to j and it will iterate through the second index, sorry, first index, in second number only index it will get the 7, so it will print the 7. So we'll try to run this program and we'll see. So it's printed the 7 triple times 7, 9 and 4. It's matching. So this is how we can do the duplicate, to find the duplicate of the array. And it is also one of the most important question. And next, like if we want to check if the element exists in the array or not, so we can use this if and we try to find with the indexing value. We have already covered this here. If we want to find the 3 is present in the array or not, so we will iterate through the index 1 till the length of the last index and increment through plus I1 plus plus, and we'll check if the index, any index of I is matching with 3. If it will match with 3, it will print the I, the index of that 3. We'll see. So zeroth index. Here we have written this program, this for loop, as a method of this class, and as an argument we are passing the array. So here we have created the object, and from object we are calling this method of this class, and we are passing the array as an argument. So this argument we are not capturing any reference variable. So this is called anonymous array without any name. So we are passing this argument array as an argument. So this is how we can find the element, if that element is matching, is present in the array or not. So other question is like the main problem is with array, like when we are dealing with the array is the first thing we can, when we are creating the array, we can declare the size of the array. Otherwise, if we know what are the elements are there and we know what are the types are there, then at the time of declaring and creating the array, we have to give all the elements of that array. So this array are fixed in size. We cannot change the size of the array once we have created it. So like therefore we must know how many elements we want to insert in that array, we want to store in that array before creating it. Otherwise, after creating the array, we cannot delete that value, or we cannot add extra value. That is not possible in this array. We can change the value of that index. We can change the index of 1 from 7 to 6, and we'll see. We can change, but we cannot delete that value. So number 0. Number 0 is number 0 is 0's index is 7. So I will change it to 10. 10. Now we'll print the value. See, number value is 10. So we can change the element of the array, but we cannot delete it, or we cannot add any additional value once it is created. So this is one of the drawback of this array in the Java. We cannot manipulate this array. We can change it, but we cannot add or insert it. So before creating that array, we should know how many elements we are going to store that element and what is the type of that element. And other thing is that when we are declaring this array is type integer, and we are trying to store a data type of different value of different data type, then it will give an array store exception in Java. So we'll try to see number 1. So first time I've successfully changed the integer 7 to integer 10. This time I'll change the index to string. We'll see what is happening, how it will behave. So it is saying the type mismatch, and this will give an array store exception error. So we'll create a new case and we'll see. So we have declared the integer type, and here the name of the array, I'm giving num, and then new keyword integer. Here I have not declared the so it's giving me an error message. Is I'm not able to. Oh, we'll run and we'll see. So it's giving me a compilation error, and we cannot convert from the string to integer. So we'll see the other example. So we have created a string array. This is the name of the array, and the memory size of this array is 2. First time we added the value, and we'll run. So displaying John. Now we'll try to add the second element. So it's giving the compilation error. So type mismatch, convert from integer to string. So we cannot, if we define the type as a string or integer, we have to store the value of that element, value of that or element of that array should be of the same data type. Otherwise, we'll get an exception. And the other question is other important thing we have to, while declaring the array, if we, what if we give any negative memory, but we'll see. So here we have given the memory as -1 and try to face the 0 value. We'll see what value we are getting. So we are getting the exception error, negative array size exception. So this is the exception error we are getting, and we already seen the other exception, that when we have declared the size as 2 and we are trying to access the index number 3, so we'll get a array out of bound exception error. So if we try to give the negative value in the size of the array, we'll get negative array size exception. And if we try to insert a value of the element of other data type and other than the declared one, so we'll get array store exception. So this all this is the main thing, main important part that we have discussed, that how to sort an array, how to find the duplicate value in the array, what are the ways we can traverse through the arrays, and how to find the values present or exist in that array or not, and how to sort in the ascending orders, and what are the common exception are there in the array. So we have discussed today. And the other important we have think, that what are the drawbacks and limitation of this array, we have also seen. So in next topic we'll start with the object oriented OOPS concept. So that's all for today. Thank you.